You're listening to the B4evaKool podcast. My name is Rex45.
My name is TJ with Two Wheels and Coffee.
What's going on, man? How's it up in the bean?
Right now we are under the 50-degree mark, so you know we got winter hats and some people still wearing hoodies, but
Mm-hmm.
I got my winter coat out.
Okay. All right. All right.
Winter's not here yet, but it's coming.
Yeah,
Wait
yeah.
on
I
those big snow days.
I got that, man. No, I
No snow.
say again.
Not looking forward to no snow, man. Like up here we fight for parking spots, and when there's a lot of snow, they shut down streets where you can't park, you can't visit friends,
Right.
you can't park on main streets. It's a mess.
I don't miss it.
Regular.
That's all I have to say. I don't miss it one bit, my friend. Not one bit. But let's get into it, man. Before we dive into the last weekend and testing today and stuff like that, I want to ask you, what did you think about the new format with the sprint race? Adding to MotoGP, for the first time ever. We know it's in World Superbike. We know it's in Formula One. Not at every track at Formula One, but they definitely do have track where they have that sprint race. So we kind of get an idea where they got it from. So what do you think about that? Or how you been enjoying it?
I mean, like I'm from when I started watching MotoGP, all I know is just the full race. 20 plus laps, and you just make a weekend out of it. So adding something to it obviously makes it a lot more exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Me looking at ratings, I just really like MotoGP more, and I started watching World Superbike and seeing they
Okay.
had more races, and like Moto America as well. They do a race Saturday and Sunday. Um, it just and Formula One as well. So I think it was a great idea, um, as far as a spectator.
Right. Right.
I don't know if they asked the riders if they were okay with it because that is a lot of riding. I'm sure they love riding. I know they do, but
You know
they
they
also
do. Yeah. 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 You know
they
they
gotta
do.
have the mindset to prepare their bodies for 40 races,
Right.
and especially if they're trying to compete.
Great. So now, did you find it exciting? Did you now had to take time off on Saturdays to watch those races because now you just had to pay attention to qualifying and stuff like that?
And I find it really exciting. I try to pay attention to all. So as the weekend approaches, I try to find time to watch all the practices, and then the
Right.
sprint, comes up quick, and I find myself missing a few videos. But I find it real exciting, especially half distance, nice quick race. It's just a good alley oop for a Sunday. But I think it's a good idea to keep it going.
I agree. I wasn't quite sure what it was going to be like on a Saturday at first, but after seeing it and kind of getting past just qualifying and looking at it, it's like I kind of now thinking like, okay, there should be more. You know what I'm saying? Moto 3 should do this. Moto 2 should do this because I've been to three GP races in person, and Saturday, and I got the Friday, the Saturday, I'm there for it all. And outside, Friday we're kind of like just a handful of people coming through, not a whole bunch and stuff. Saturday had a little bit more mix, but it wasn't like what we're seeing now with the sprint race. So definitely for folks going to that's buying the whole package and not just the race day before. Now they can go on Saturday. If you have the whole package, now you can enjoy yourself even more. So I hope they put they do that for Moto 3 and Moto 2 as well, because it's more exciting, and the fact that they eliminated FP4 for MotoGP, so the riders are not necessarily spending more time setting up the bike, which is a plus and minus, depending on the rider. It seems like everybody's going really fast. There's a lot of lap records that's been set this year, so I don't think people have problem, with the time they have. So it's definitely been fun and exciting, man. And like I said, for all these all the folks that get their package for the whole weekend, now Saturday is a lot more fun.
I mean, I've never been to a MotoGP race. Definitely looking forward to at least going to Coda. Um, watching them in Texas.
Yeah.
And it's not as packed crowd as where
Mugello
where
or
Hello,
Venecia.
Mons, Valencia. Valencia had over 100,000 people there,
Yeah.
and I think that is a not because it was the last race and the what was at stake, but also because there was a sprint that was going on. There
Right.
was mini GP going
And
on.
they're big
So I
motorcycle
think
heads
it's a
over there
good
too.
idea.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What do you say?
I said they're big motorcycle heads over there too. So
Oh, did you see the bikes that pulled in? The shot of all the bikes that were in the parking lot?
yeah,
Like,
yeah. Sea of
man.
bikes.
But I think Moto 2 and Moto 3, I think it was a test run for the sprint, which obviously we knew would turn out great because
Right.
if you go to a MotoGP weekend, like you can enjoy a Saturday, you can enjoy a Friday or a Sunday. If you even if you chose to go one day, you can
Right.
still enjoy some type of race. And Friday is very competitive with qualifying,
Mm-hmm.
practice and stuff like that. So I think Moto 2 and Moto 3 is a little left out. I think they should add definitely a sprint race for them.
Right.
Uh, it doesn't probably, I don't know, definitely got to be half distance.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. I think so. It makes sense. I mean, we see it in World Superbike on Saturday, and I mean, they got two races and they got a sprint, right? So, I mean,
Yeah.
they got a lot of seat time on those bikes. So, definitely, have to. You don't need much. You just need more entertainment on the Saturday because people you're paying a mint for these tickets.
Yeah,
And not to say I was complaining about the qualifying sessions and FP3 and FP4 and stuff like that, but now you get you get the thrill, and I think the riders also get the thrill. I mean, and I think some of them get even a setup for Sunday what could happen, but I think it's always better to go racing than to go set up.
if they do add some sprint races for those classes, I wish they could have a second bike for one, but they would have to pull something. So maybe they would stretch the the qualifying for MotoGP on a Friday instead of
Right.
Saturday morning. I mean, they give a little extra time.
Yeah,
They
I completely agree.
they would have to. They
Yes.
pulled FP4 to squeeze that in and uh, tweak a couple other things. So
Yeah. No, I think they would have to definitely cut some stuff to make it work out from time management, but also to give the riders enough time to get set up on the bike and stuff like that. And I assume as time go on, it is going to get better. It's going to get better for MotoGP for itself, but also if they were to introduce this in Moto 2 or Moto 3, it's going to continue to get better. So I will say that's the cool part about the sprint race and seeing that this year and seeing that format and it's more motorcycle racing is always a good thing.
and I also think it kind of makes sense because you don't want the Moto 2 and Moto 3 to be washed out. You know what I mean? Like you do come for the main event, but you
Right.
still want to have a nice show from the upcoming riders.
Yeah.
And if everyone's coming to see the sprint, just the GP race, and all you see is the Moto 2 and 3 on Sunday, besides the practicing, I think they need a little bit more.
Got you. When you say that, you saying like because they have the GP on Sunday as well. So you're saying having the Moto 2 and Moto 3 on Saturday for the lower classes is will be better.
Well, I mean, like adding either switching one of them or adding a sprint race for one of the classes, maybe Moto 2,
Mm-hmm.
and then Moto 3 maybe a year from now or something, or 2 years from now.
Got you.
Because I don't know how they're gonna squeeze it in, but I don't know. Sometimes I will wake up and I'll watch the sprint race, the MotoGP, and then I'll watch the MotoGP full race,
Uh huh.
the Grand Prix.
Right.
And then I'll go back and watch Moto 2 or Moto 3 if I have time. Sometimes you don't have that much time to watch them unless you know, always got the screen open. But
I don't know what you're talking about, man. Uh,
No, I mean I do watch all the races, but like sometimes I'm be at work and I can't watch all of them like I do the MotoGP riders.
Right,
Cause
right. Well, yeah, it's it is a commitment for sure, to make yourself available and stuff like that. And I didn't watch them all like that at once upon a time as well. So but yeah, it's nice to be able to have access to it. I'm loving what they did with the website, and just being able
yeah,
to connect and stuff like that, and watch it and just navigating through it. It's a lot easier than before. So I think MotoGP going forward, and they will know better than you and I, that I think they're gonna lean a lot more on the technology side, and we're gonna see some really cool things coming out.
I mean they updated the website. It seems like it's definitely improving. I mean, for sure, watching it, I enjoyed my year. Watching these guys go crazy on these bikes.
Right. Oh yeah, for sure. So let's get into to talk about Moto 3 and the rest of the weekend, and we'll touch into the testing a little bit. So what do you think about the Moto 3 race? What do you think about McDoing coming out and talking about Massey should have I been a classier rider. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, yeah, I mean he's right. He should be a classier rider. Um, I mean, we all know, or we all saw it, even if he said it was accidental, but is gotta win fair and square.
Draymond Green in the making.
Yeah, I mean, that's not what the sport's about. We don't want another rider. I mean, it's easy what you see, and then you can point fingers at the end of the day. You don't want there's someone to start like this. So
Right.
I don't think it was good for someone like him, the old vet, to speak his mind.
No, for sure. I completely agree with that. And I think others are talking. We're talking about it. I think as an athlete, I'm not a world class athlete, but I consider myself an athlete nonetheless. When I played ball and whatever tennis or whatever thing, there's always integrity. There's always ethics. What I'm saying, there's always carrying yourself a certain way. And for some folks, they can cheat and enjoy the win. I don't want to cheat and enjoy the win. I want to make sure that I got the win on my skill set, and if there's a better opponent out there, it sucks for me, but I'm it's gonna be fuel for next season. That's pretty much it for me. For him to do what he did, it's in the rule. I mean, the stewards saw it. I don't think they knew how to handle it. I think they felt like they had to do something, so that's what they did. But I think in a situation like that, I don't know if it would have made a difference. I don't know what the worst penalty can be, but I think once upon a time in Formula One, it's his name is skipping. It's off the tip of my tongue. But anyway, there was a famous rider. He died. He died in a crash. And it had yellow helmet. Like I can't even think of his name right now, and y'all can yell at me for that. But in one race, it was him and one other guy, and he ran his car. He ran his car into the other guy and took the guy out the race, and then went on to win the title. Sure, it's fair in the rules book, but at the same time, if you got to take someone out like that to win, is it really a win? I mean, what I'm saying? Because then, what's the level? Like, Nancy Kerrigan and Harden and take and try to go physically, try to hurt somebody? What's the next step when you allow riders, when you allow folks to do what Messi has done? Because he didn't do it to everyone. He did it to the person closest to him to get in the way of the title. So that's a big difference. You know what I'm saying? It would be one thing if he did it to another rider because he was just trying to get ahead, and the rider was getting in his way, and he did that a couple of times. And you gave him a conduct thing, okay? But yeah, like this was the main person that was challenging him for to the title, and he rode him out like that a few times, and then his teammate did the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, it was very obvious. I mean, I just don't know how that would sit well with you.
Cena,
Like,
I can't
go
believe
go
I
home
forgot his
tonight.
name. Cena.
Yeah. Oh, Cena. I don't think I remember that. I'm gonna check that out. But yeah, I don't know how that would sit well with you trying to take advantage that way. I mean, I'm sure, yeah, one block pass, and then obviously, when riders make a mistake, they're honest with it. If they block past you, they'll pass you and they'll
Right.
throw an arm up or throw a leg up real quick. So like, okay, yeah,
Right.
he knew what
No,
he
no,
did
yeah,
wrong.
yeah. He wrote him out.
So,
He
so
wrote him
there
out.
was none of that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There was
He
none of
pushed him
that.
out. He pushed him out. Like that
Yeah.
was like that's not like, oh, I'm just gonna slow. I'm just gonna get. He didn't make a pass. He was already in front of him.
Yeah. So that is just I don't know, just not an honest way to win. But it's I wouldn't do that. I just don't know how you can. Yeah, just like I just don't know how players do that. I know we mentioned, or I mentioned, I don't know who it was who grabbed their brake lever,
Right. Exactly.
when they exited the pit lane. Like
I think
what
it was.
advantage
I
are
think it
you
was
trying to get?
Finardi, I believe, or Manzi. I think it was one of those guys. And
Yeah,
they
like
lost their license for, I believe, a year.
yeah,
You know.
you got some riders trying to go out onto the track, and another team's gonna come by, and surprisingly try to slow him down or mess up his brake lever or whatever, just have a disadvantage, so you can have a disadvantage. Like what
Right.
is that?
Yeah.
Like
No, that's exactly that. So that's unfortunate, but it was definitely cool to see McDowan come out and say something about that and point that out. I know the folks at MotoGP tried to when they interviewed the team owner, he tried to brush it off as just riding or point fingers at other people did this and that, and that's not necessarily the way to go about business. You can't when you do something wrong, you can't sit here and try to point out that someone else is doing something wrong as if to say there's nothing to say because y'all both wrong. But either way, you're still wrong. So you're just trying to bring other people into your being wrong, and call it out when you see it. Don't necessarily use it as a defense when people are pointing out what you're doing.
yeah, I think the situation is just lagging on. I mean, they should have just said, "Yeah, we know what we did wrong. We're gonna address it. Don't ask no more questions."
Yeah.
And then
Yeah. Exactly.
everybody would know about
Exactly.
that, and then the story would be dead. But
Right.
they just letting us, try to figure out why would he do that and why you still letting him, like, no,
Right.
harsh
And
punishment.
and we remember that as fans. We remember the Rossi or Lorenzo and Marquez and those titles. You remember when it's not when it doesn't look clean. As a fan, you remember that. Obviously, as the writers, they definitely remember that, or the ball players, or whatever sport you're in, or whatever thing you're in. You remember when the person did you dirty just to get ahead. And I don't think you ever get past that. I don't think Sasaki's going to get past that ever. He may still would have lost. He may still would have lost in Valencia. You know what I mean? But it's like, come on, bro. Come on, you know what you did, and you have to be the bigger person at this point to move beyond. Make yourself a better person and just move beyond because you can't turn around and go attack them or do anything to them because at that point, we know how that goes.
The second person is always one that's gonna get in trouble
Exactly.
for that.
And kudos to Sasaki for winning the race, and he had to fight for that race. But man, the boy was on a mission.
Yeah, that was I didn't see the full race, but I did see the winners. But yeah, I mean that's a great end of the season.
Yeah, for sure. And he moves to Moto 2. Massia moves to Moto 2 as well. So I suspect, if the universe works the way, it works, we'll I think he'll get his retribution.
That's how it continues.
The saga continues, but yeah, some motorcycle racing is cool. Yeah, so definitely Moto 3 was very exciting. Chad Dennis Chu had a chance to win the race, and he had to work for it. Man, it was pretty amazing, man. It like the whole Sunday was one of the every race was fun to watch.
I mean, being this your favorite track, right? Sure.
I'm a big fan of Valencia for sure. Definitely. Definitely. Yeah, Valencia is one of my favorite tracks for sure. I enjoyed on the MotoGP game. more than it's a fun little track, man. It's not little, but it's fun.
I mean, for them, it takes them a minute and 30 seconds roughly
Yeah,
for GP bikes to get around.
minute
So
29
I wouldn't
now.
say it was a super short track
Yeah,
or a super long track. So I'm sure for us regular riders, if we did it, it would be like almost 2 minutes. But I don't. I like it because it's a lot of turns and it's not too long of a track.
hmm,
And looking at the seating arrangement there, it must be amazing that wherever you sit, you can see the whole layout.
right. Yeah,
There was like a turn where they were riding up to another corner, and you could see like the whole grandstand like looking at you. It's like it must be uh, fantastic to ride and all the hearing the cheers. You could probably definitely hear all the fans in the middle of the helmet.
yeah. Besides Austin, we're gonna have to get you to over to one of these European tracks, or one of these other tracks that got over 100,000 people, because man, it is so amazing. Just the vibe that happens when it's that many people. So yeah, we'll see what the future hold, man. But what do you think about Moto Two? Aldegier ran away with it 4 in a row. He's doing something only a few have done. The closest person was our friend number, the first. I won't say it to him because he's worked hard, but he has 15 second place. Aaron Canet.
And that's my guy, Aaron Canet. I've been rooting for him all year, wishing that he get a number one, but he did not. He's Pedro Acosta put in a lot of work. He got his uh, he got his championship, and then he
Mm-hmm.
kind of fell back a little bit, just
Right.
expected. But Aldegier, that man is look at me now. That's basically what he's saying.
Yeah.
Somebody look at me. I'm on another level.
No
Because
doubt.
he's been winning by margins, like not 2 seconds, but maybe 4 or 5 seconds,
Eh,
and 4 in a row. That's
right.
that's just a good way to end the year.
And he's had it,
Another one.
yeah, and he's had it in him from when he was in the European series. I think last year was unfortunate, and I think at the end of this year it might have just taken him a while to get on the bike. But I think that if Pedro was there next year, I don't think he would have been able to see dude, and so I think for Pedro, I think he's fortunate to be in MotoGP, but he's gonna have to look out because Aldegier is gonna be there next year, for sure. He's going to be one of the few, if because it's interesting in MotoGP. Last year was only one person that came up from Moto Two. This year it's only one person that came up from Moto Two. So there's not a lot of room in MotoGP for Moto Two riders at the moment. So that's the part that's crazy. And like I said, and for Aaron Canet, the Jake Dixons, the Roberts, these other guys, they got a lot of work to do in the off season because they're going to be fighting for jobs at the end of next year for their
Yeah, I
job,
mean,
their current job.
oh yeah, this. I mean, you think the talent is going away, but it's going to be really strong. Where everyone's going to be around the same time. They're on the same CC bike. Um, for MotoGP, there was the top riders were maybe a second or 2 seconds faster than most.
Right.
Now you got like 10, 12 riders are within the same second.
Exactly.
Um,
Half a second.
Moto two, it's probably gonna be really pretty similar to that. Even though Pedro Acosta's gone, and like I said, not a lot of movement, so it's the same competition.
Right.
Really, except for a
Yeah.
couple of Moto three riders coming up.
Yeah. So and it pains me to see Sam Lowe's go. He's out of Moto 2, moving over to World Superbike. Definitely gonna miss him. He's been in MotoGP in the MotoGP series for so long. He had a quick stint in MotoGP on the Aprilia before the bike was what it was, and then it went back to Moto 2. And so that's going to be tough. Not tough. I'm happy that he's going on. He's in his 30s and he still gets to race on the world stage. So it's not
His
tough for
brother's
him,
over there, right?
huh?
His brother's over there, right?
His brother's over there already. Alex Lowe, he's already over there. So they'll get to travel together and compete against one another. Sam's going to be on the Ducati, so he's going to be he's on a Duck. So
Anyone that's getting on a Ducati now is gonna have a hope. It should have a good year.
should have a good year. Definitely. And some of these other riders are definitely going to step up. I assume for next year, Ayaguru and Samkat Santra and some of these guys, they're going to have that year to be able to push against, Lopez and Furman Aldegier, because Albolino, because these guys they want to go to MotoGP relatively soon, and they kind of they're putting their mark out there.
And it's funny is Iagora is really good rider. I think he's really talented. And it was funny, they was talking about someone taking Taka's seat, and I'm not sure if he'd probably be the only one, but 2 years ago he had a really good season, but he crashed out, I think, in Valencia.
Yeah,
I think it was.
and last
And
last year he jacked him. Earlier this year he jacked himself up. So
yeah, and
um,
last year he jacked himself up, and he didn't have a really good year this year.
yeah.
So I'm sure he's ready to come back strong because I know he doesn't want to stay in Moto 2. I'm sure they're, Taka,
Yeah, these guys
um,
they want to go
getting
to
older,
MotoGP, no doubt.
go to
Look,
MotoGP.
yeah. And one other shout out is Pons Racing is leaving Moto 2. So no Pons Racing, I believe, over 40 something years in the MotoGP. And guy was a racer before he became a team owner. Aaron Canet moved over to, I forget which team it is. I think it's Fnatic or something like that. I think so. It's history, right? We know we're making history every day because the fact that we get another day. But when you've been able to stay in MotoGP as long as they have. And win championships and win races and stuff like that. That's pretty amazing. They had some top riders that have ridden for them. So we're definitely going to miss seeing that font, those colors in MotoGP in the future.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to stay long in anything, especially now in this day and age where it's not just a few things like before, like Burger King, McDonald's. There's just so much more to stay in the game that long. Yeah, I haven't obviously been following it so long, but seeing
Or
already
live that
Suzuki.
long. I've been alive that long.
I haven't. I've already seen Suzuki pull out, and there's other manufacturers or riders that are left and coaches that are left. So
Oh yeah,
I
no,
think it's pretty good.
the game
Good.
definitely changes, and I don't know what the average shelf life is of folks, but definitely when you're in the game for over any game for over 10 years, what I'm saying, you're definitely not the norm, because a lot of people come and go in everything. So when you're in that long and at this level, you're definitely doing a good thing. So it is, it will be sad to see.
Right.
The beautiful thing about MotoGP, you can go watch races, so you can always learn about these riders and these team owners and stuff like that. Because the journey is amazing. When you start looking back, you see these young kids, and you see them grow up on the stage, and it's pretty cool to see. So it is, I wouldn't say a sad day when if you ever had that long of longevity, but
I mean, look at Rossi. I
exactly.
mean, the day that Rossi left the track, it was crazy
Yeah.
parties every race, and I mean, he's still in the game. So just imagine when he's finally done with racing, which probably never.
Well, exactly, because he's racing cars now. I kind of feel
Yeah.
that way. So you got a chance to watch the sprint race on Saturday. You watched the full race on Sunday. We know what the results are. What do you think about the sprint? Were you yelling at the TV? Were you I mean, it wasn't as early, but did you wake anyone up because you were yelling at the TV? Maybe I was the only
Oh
one.
No, I was excited. I wasn't as I mean, like you could see the urgency in Martine.
Right.
Um,
And he stood up. He
it,
stood
it was
up on
good.
Saturday.
Yeah, he definitely did. It was good to see like not Pecco on pole. I know
Hmm.
we're gonna get to that, but it was good to see Aprilia, another manufacturer, reach the podium.
Right.
Um, but that was also a way to help Martine, get some points over Pecco. So I think he did really well.
Hmm.
They were fighting a little bit. He was in front and went behind him, and they were rubbing paint. And Mark Marquez almost took off his shoulder. So
Listen.
he got some battle scars to get that
Right.
first
Right.
place.
Yes. This was Saturday. Yeah. We don't even talk about Sunday yet. Yeah. But this was Saturday for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Saturday.
Yeah. They rubbing is
Yeah,
rubbing is racing, as they say.
mm, yeah. I
Um.
thought Saturday that happened,
Yeah.
but it was a good fight. Um, and I was excited for him for sure. But I always think when he wins, I mean, I know he's supposed to celebrate, but I don't know. I guess I'm more humble about things.
Right. Yeah. Listen. We've talked about that on the show previously. Absolutely right. I. 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 I don't think he's going to do it next year. I don't think he'll. I think next year he's going to be definitely more in line with things. But those you play basketball. When you hit the foul shot or if you got an open shot, there's an automatic. Oh, I got it, and you lose concentration and you don't get it. You know what I'm saying? Like when that moment where you start to act out of character, you tend to make mistakes. And if he was always showboating like that, and he's not like showboating is not the right word, but showing off a little bit. If he was always doing that, it'd be one thing. But now you're doing it, but you ain't really dominating. You know what I'm saying? And matter of fact, you look at the Jordans, the Kobe's, the LeBrons, like Rossi. I mean, Rossi talked a lot of trash. You know what I'm saying? But he backed it up, right? So it's like if you're not backing it up like that, don't do these things because again, we remember it, we see it, you see it, you did it, you choked, you gotta live with that. If you never do it, you ain't gotta worry about it. You know what I'm saying?
Wait till you win a sprint and a GP like
Yeah,
back to back,
yeah.
like two, like four in a row, like or like some of the Allegers are. Like, don't just win sprint races and mess up on the one.
Yeah, so I don't ever think it's a good look to be cocky. Just to follow up on what we've just been talking about, you just get yourself in trouble, and if you can't back it up, and he didn't back it up on Sunday, so for what he did on Saturday, it's him. It's not me. I mean, I don't do that stuff because I know I'm probably going to do what he did on Sunday. So I tend not to. When you're younger and you try to show off in front of somebody, whoever, usually it's a girl, but whatever, and you try to wheelie on your bicycle or cruise by on your car and run into a pole either in your bicycle or your car, because I know people have done both. You're jacking yourself up because you're trying to show off. If you're by yourself just trying to do something, generally you're not you're locked in, you're focused, and you're more successful. So I've learned like showing off doesn't usually end well unless you a elite person.
I think like Pecco is more dialed in. Um, he's been through this before already, and I just think he understands the things that go wrong or what's needed over Martine, which looks like he's just using more skill versus
Right. Versus
of
experience.
yeah, experience and feel. I mean, like it's just a lot. Like I said, the sprint is totally different from the Grand Prix as we see. I mean, this is all new, and I like how it is laid out. But
Hmm.
if I won the sprint, and I'll just put two hands in the air and say, "Yes, I won. Thank you,
Exactly. Right.
everybody." And I got one more race.
Yep.
Uh, and I'll do that every single weekend. And if I won that race on Sunday, then you'll see me bugging out and going crazy.
Right.
And matter of
Exactly.
fact, keeping my
Party.
own belief.
Party.
But
Yep. Party when racing is over, and you talked about Pecco, and I believe that the academy does a really good job at
oh, the,
keeping these people locked in. And Rossi's has access to all type of great people, great players, great athletes. So they all share information and stuff like that, and they all get it. And I think next year you're going to see Martine less doing that type of thing and more just about the business and so forth. So that sprint was very good. Shout out to Digia, who's continuously doing what he's doing, and he's been able to secure that VR46 Academy seat, which is
Congrats.
dope because it should never been in question in the first place. And it shouldn't have happened in the first place because he didn't have enough time. And I'm glad that he was able to dig in deep and overcome that, because a lot of writers, I think, we see that, their job is up and they kind of just bring it home. They don't sit here and go, let me shoot for a ride next year. Maybe some do, but it doesn't work out in their favor. Here's a situation where he got on the podium. It was to the point where you couldn't deny it. The dude you couldn't deny it. So I'm happy that Digia has a seat for next year. But let's talk about the main race. Was it like Michael Jordan versus Kobe Bryant in the early days? Was it like Kobe Bryant versus LeBron James the early days? Because dude, before the race started, I haven't been that excited in so long. I couldn't even I literally was just like I couldn't wait for the race to start. And even the first lap, I'm like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Wishing I had like a crystal ball.
I mean, the first couple corners, you always want to know what's going to happen if everyone stays up. You're hoping everyone does, but it's always some crazy fiat, something crazy going on. Going into this race, I thought this was like a championship. Like, all right, this is it. It's the last race of the year. Let me get my popcorn. Actually, I was getting my breakfast ready, But you know, it was already disappointing that Maverick had a little incident on his
Yeah,
warm up lap in the morning.
yeah. I mean,
I'm just
is
like,
that are they related to
what
that?
else could go wrong? Just give Pecco the pole. Like, okay, all right. So we're off to a great start because I was rooting for Martine.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and yeah, so when the race started, I was like, all right, how's this turn one gonna go? How's this turn two gonna go? And it was very tight, just how I expected. It's very interesting. And then if you all saw, Martine was just a little overzealous, a little too early, everything. No
Yep.
patience.
Had plenty of time.
I know
Had
he
plenty of
wanted
time.
to plenty of time, but I know mentally, like he's probably Pecco's in front is over, so I got to get in front of him as soon as possible, which makes sense. But I just think it was a little too early because Pecco had to finish fifth or worse.
Right. You know,
Actually, he had to finish sixth, I think, for even him to
right.
win.
Yeah, and
For
and
Martin to win.
I don't know. Obviously, we're not in their group, in their camp, so we don't know anything. But mathematically, in a situation like that, I would have hoped somebody would say, "Hey, just go have fun." At that point, just go have fun. That's it. Just ride and go have
Yeah,
fun,
yeah,
because even if you win, this dude still has to finish fifth and you have no control over that. So just go have fun, try to do your best race. It wasn't, it was a situation where if Martine was ahead and he needed to stretch out something, so, to do that, because really the onus, the pressure would have been on Pecco in theory, because if Martine was in first place and was able to ride his race, then Pecco's gonna have to make sure he stayed fifth, right? Just like in even in the sprint race, Digia gave him that, right? Digia gave him that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I know I'm about to get signed, so I ain't gonna overtake you. But Digia could have overtaken him in the sprint,
yeah,
and
he had the last corner.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? And so it was one of those things where it's just like that. That's what I would have told him at that point, because, like I said, with the numbers, just go have fun. So, like you mentioned, very aggressive in the beginning, more aggressive than he needed to be. He made the same mistake Pecco did, like with Bezecchi, when he got sucked in, or Bezecchi did with Pecco, I should say, and got sucked
Well, that's
in.
where the experience comes into play. Like if you're First of all, your everything's gonna heat up if you're on someone's tail like that, and you're gonna get a draft. So I don't understand why he would try to get so close so early.
Right.
And before, like, that happened to me before, where I got ran off the track a little bit by a friend. We're all doing this for fun, and mentally, I'm like, I have to get back to where I was just at. I mean, I was just in running third place, and I got pushed off. Didn't even see it coming, and now I'm in seventh. And I tried to fight as hard as I could, get back to third, and everything was wild. My lines are different. I'm trying to pass people in ways that shouldn't happen, and I was just being a little too aggressive, and I bit the dust. And
Yeah.
seeing it coming, seeing it coming when he passed Pecco and he tried to get back, and was like, oh, like Martin uh, is gonna lose it.
Yeah, and that was unfortunate. And he took out Marquez, and I mean Marquez is so lucky. He's
Oh,
lucky.
tired of seeing him on the ground.
Yeah. But just the way he landed, just so lucky. He just he's all right. He was able to test, so he's all right. I mean, he might be achy a little bit, but just so lucky. And I think Martin would have. Every rider wants to finish the race. You know what I mean? And because it's tough when you crash out. It's tough when you in that situation. But like we said, next year, everybody believes he will be more prepared, more folk. And I rarely say everybody because I don't know everybody. But in this instance, he has what it takes to be a top rider, Martin. So I believe he's going to find the patience and he's going to do what he has to. And next year, he's going to be a more, just like Pecco did. Pecco had to find patience too and stuff like that. And you saw that this year. He was definitely more patient than last year as well. So it's just natural growth. But it was very exciting to watch. Like I said before, I'm very excited that Digia did get the seat with VR46, and the fact that the guy can just come through and run the way he has been running. Next year, the Ducati riders, I they're gonna finish top 8. I'm gonna say that for next season. I think next season they're gonna be top 8.
Who is?
The Ducati riders.
All of them is
All of
gonna
them,
finish.
top 8. I'm going on record and saying top 8.
Yeah, we could put that on paper. I
Okay.
mean, it'll be hard to disagree. I mean, they have like so many bikes on the grid anyway, and all the top riders.
The
And they're all
weakest.
great riders. They're
Right.
all great riders.
You, go
But
ahead.
yeah, how can you argue? Pecco, number one, runner up is a Ducati. I think the runner up for behind Martin's Ducati. So we already got three, right,
Yeah.
bro? Who's fourth place? I think was Jack Miller or someone like that.
Brad Bend, I believe.
Brad Binder, yeah,
Yeah.
but
And
you
then
know,
Vinales, I believe. If I'm going off memory. But no, yeah, a lot of Ducati. Oh, Zarco. I think Zarco was 5th. Sorry. Zarco was 5th. Elish was 6th, and
right?
and
Against
Vinales was
that,
7.
so you think because Morbidelli's going Ducati and Marquez, you think there's gonna be more Ducatis? But what about Zarco? Zarco is gonna hold it down. I'm telling you, it's
He's a
just gonna
Honda
go.
man. He's a Honda man.
All right, he's gonna
Well, so
he's he's gonna.
let's and I'll tell you why I say that. But let's I think we done with MotoGP race for Sunday? Did we get cover everything we needed to? We know who the winner is. It was awesome to see. Awesome to see.
I had one more thing to say about it, but it's a little off topic, so I'll
Yeah.
wait to the end.
I will say this: KTM, like y'all boys need to get y'all ish together because y'all tossed away 1 and 2. Tossed away 1 and 2 because
So
Pecco
that
gave
that
him
that
Pecco gave him that. They gave up. Like y'all go ahead. I ain't taking that risk.
once he knew Martin was out of the race, Pecco literally flipped the switch, put it on pilot 3, slow burner, and just let it go.
That's it.
And let a 3-4 riders by.
Yeah.
They couldn't even hold it.
And
Like,
exactly.
what else
Yo,
did a
I
number one
hooked you
rider
up with the girl and everything. What happened?
do? like he still had to take it.
Yeah, yeah. No, I can't
What
believe
else
that.
can you do?
I can't believe that
That's
happened.
embarrassing. That's another reason why I think what you said, all the Ducatis.
Yeah,
I'll say top five, but I
yeah.
can't. Top eight is a little
I'll
hard.
I'll say top seven. Don't the only week. So, and I say all that to say because I watched the practice session. Marquez after 7 laps, the man came in. Listen,
He
man.
did his thing.
He,
He
he,
did his
he
thing.
he's just like just a smile on
He's
his
just a real
face.
rider.
He just
He's
he's like, this is what I've been missing. And I think he's in the top. He finished the day in top five.
he needs to show more emotion. I mean, when he's not in his suit, he's
Yeah,
all giggles,
yeah,
laughing,
yeah, yeah,
joking.
yeah. No, no.
But I know he wanted to smile way to the camera.
Oh yeah,
You
no,
could
no
tell.
he had a little smile, but
Yeah,
so yeah,
his
so it's gonna be Marquez fighting, Pecco fighting, Martin fighting, Bezecchi fighting, Digi is gonna be fighting. Who am I missing? Alex Marquez is probably gonna be fighting, and that's six. Who am I missing? So Morbidelli is the only person that might not be fighting, and Bastianini and Morbidelli are the two weakest are Ducati riders right now.
I think Bastianini is going to come back really
Yeah,
strong.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
I do believe that too. I do believe I do believe if he was healthy, we would have been looking at Bastianini, not in this order, but Bastianini, Bezecchi, Martin, and Bagnaia. If he was healthy this year, he would have been he would have been up there in the championship as well because he was definitely fast last year at the end of last year. So there's no reason to believe he wouldn't have been if he didn't jack himself up a couple of times.
I think Bezzecchi and Morbidelli to me would be the weakest out of all of them.
No,
Going in,
Bezecchi was hurt. He's if he wasn't hurt, he would have finished higher in the championship. The
oh, I
collarbone,
know.
that
Well, that's
collarbone,
what I mean.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, that's what I mean. So like going into
But he
next
finished. He
season,
finished high today in the Sunday in the practice. So he was like I think it
yeah,
was top three or top four. So he's already
some of them
found.
did, some of them did some hot laps, but a lot of them were testing on some things. It was good to see Mark jump on there and already do minute and 30 seconds and pull out a 29.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So
Jorge Martin had a horrible start. He had two crashes,
right,
and I'm sure he was just ready to get his day over with.
yeah, oh for sure.
Echo, solid.
Yep.
It was good to see Pedro Costa out there.
Yo,
He
he was
was
sliding that
second
bike
off.
sideways. But to go back,
And
to the Ducati thing. Yeah, I believe Morbidelli, but I think Bezecchi from what he's shown. I'll put Alex and Morbidelli closer together than Bezecchi and Morbidelli at this point. It will be my assess for that. But nonetheless, Pedro, unbelievable. He still got a lot to learn. It's possible by the end of next season he could be a better rider than Fernandez on that bike. It's possible, but we'll see because we'll see. But it is possible. So it's possible that as I was saying, it's possible that Pedro might be ahead of Fernandez by the end of next season, just on how he was riding today. But the guy looks like he enjoy riding. When you see his face, Pedro looks like he enjoys being out there, not having the same pressure, and so that was interesting to see. But I do believe that the KTM's, the Aprilias, the Yamahas, the Hondas, they gonna have to get together and work to beat these Ducatis or something because KTM is close, Aprilia's close, but they're gonna have to work real hard.
Yamaha's gonna have to work real hard. And some of the issues is the amount of testing they can do. As I think Crutchlow was saying that he was on a stock engine, and Alex Rins and Fabio, they had the new engine.
Right.
But they don't have enough
Seat time.
testers.
Yeah.